Hello all, Nick Calabro here with Collaboration, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how you can make $13,500. Okay, in this day and age, this video is being recorded mid-2019 right now, it is so very easy to generate leads online and to get clients that need that service. Okay, so how are we going to utilize this kind of revolution of the digital age here to actually make money? Specifically, how we're going to make $13,000. Okay, ultimately, anyone that has their Facebook page managed, okay, anyone that has any type of digital strategy being done by an outside agency, that's a very easily priced service at $1,500. Okay, so right off the bat, if you find one dentist, if you find one chiropractor, if you find one bar or restaurant, if you find, maybe not bars and restaurants, they're a little more stingy on the marketing side, but if you find any type of local business, gym memberships go great with this stuff as well. If you find any of these local businesses, okay, this is what's great about this as well. There are businesses sprouting up more and more each and every day. Okay, they're all local. Okay, there are a ton of local businesses, and they all need their own little instance of a service that you can provide. Okay, there may be a lot of digital agencies sprouting up as well, but there are still not enough to take into account all the different businesses that are popping up as well that do need the service. Okay. So ultimately, if you're charging $1,500 to simply manage Facebook ads for a company, and this is a very reasonable cost, okay, and you'll be able to get the results, and it'll be able to essentially pay for itself. If it's not paying for itself, then they're not going to continue on, and that's kind of one of the keys here to actually break that 5-figure mark in 60 days or less, okay? If you get one client who needs Facebook advertising at $1,500 a month, okay, you do that 3 times in 1 month. I'm giving you a week off. Okay, not off, essentially. You're doing a ton of kind of work up front on the back end, and then ultimately you're able to get one client, week after week. Okay, in month 1, in just 30 days, you're generating $4,500. Okay? I know the numbers seem a little crazy once you kind of multiply them like this, but it's literally possible. This is what we did at Collaboration. This is when I finally realized there is money to be made here. Okay, so month 1, you're making $4,500. Now, the trick here is that month 2, all of those clients on the first month have to now pay again. If this is a monthly fee, okay, you just made $9,000 for essentially 1 month of work. Okay, sure, there's going to be a little bit of management. You're going to have to go in there and check out the ads. You're going to have to do a little bit of work on the back end of all that to continue making that money. But essentially, you just made $9,000 for 1 month's worth of client acquisition. Okay, now the trick is you repeat the same thing you did in month 1. Okay, and now you have the $9,000 from month 1. Okay, month 2, retainers are coming in again, and then you acquire more customers. That's another $4,500 in your pocket. Okay, now you can imagine it's very easy, extremely feasible to reach 5 figures a month on this digital agency model. Okay, because the prices are high, the margins are extremely low, none of this stuff can cost you, it won't cost you anything at all. Okay, margins are extremely low, costs are extremely high, okay, and the service that you're providing is extremely easy. Okay, it's the perfect trifecta of business nowadays. Okay, mid-2019, going into 2020, this is the time to get in on this market. It'd be foolish if you weren't utilizing your Facebook advertising skills on other local businesses, people that don't have any knowledge, they don't even know how to log into their own Facebook, okay? It's a very valuable service. Okay, you're not ripping anybody off. You're not kind of going about this in an unethical way, okay? This is simply the way that business is going to be done nowadays. Think about the .com boom. Okay, everybody was kind of just rushing in it. Well, be part of the rush, honestly, because there's no point in waiting for the next thing at this point. Okay, we're already well into this, and it's still not, if anything, it's getting bigger. Okay, it's not subsiding at all. Okay, if anything, it is just growing and growing because there are more businesses that do need this service. So the big question that you're probably asking yourself is, how do we acquire those initial clients? So one of the best ways of going about this is just by adding value. So now I don't want you to get confused by thinking that adding value is starting to think of yourself as a whole walking media company. absolutely incorrect. If you check out any of my other content, you'll see that I'm fully against the notion of thinking of yourself as a media company. You're not a media company, you're a business, and the purpose of your business is to generate revenue, not to start a podcast, not to do all this garbage online and just throw more content into the world of the internet that no one's going to care about, okay? What you do care about is revenue. I don't care about Facebook likes, I don't care about Instagram followers, I care about revenue into your business. So, what is the way of going about that? So, even though you're not a media company and it's not your job to be pushing out content, it is your job to add value to the prospect so that they would become a customer. So, think of yourself as more of a salesperson rather than a media company, okay? When you do this, you have the mindset that you're ABC, okay? You're always being closing, okay? Nice callback to Glenn Ross. If you haven't watched the movie, highly recommend it. So ultimately, when you have this mindset, you're always in there saying, okay, how am I going to actually close this client? What am I actually going to do to lead them through the sale? Now, the kind of paradox here that you're going to find that I'm kind of stepping on my own words here is that one of the keys to sales is to always be adding value to the prospect. Okay, so I'm saying don't actually just spend all your time pushing out content trying to educate people, but at the same time, the second you stop adding value to the prospect and you start talking about how great your service is, how great you are, the different results you had, then they're no longer interested in working with you. Okay, so although you don't want to be just constantly pushing out educative, kind of consultative content, okay, you do want to be going in there and adding value to the consumer, or to the prospect in this case. So the best way of going about this is literally just by doing that online. So what we did at Collaboration, very, very first and foremost, I was going into different types of forums, I was going into Facebook groups, I was going into Reddit threads, a lot of Twitter as well. Twitter was actually really, really great for this because there were a ton of the certain types of prospects that we were going after, a ton of them on Twitter, and essentially just dropping value every single chance we get in long form, okay, in kind of exhaustive forms. That way people said to themselves, wow, this person actually really knows what they're talking about. They're literally speaking directly to me. They're solving exactly my issues without even going in there yet, okay? They put more work in on the front end than I've seen anyone else do, and they're just trying to constantly sell me, okay? Now think of it, you're not pushing out a ton of content for the sake of pushing out content, okay? That is the problem that I see so many people falling into, especially nowadays, okay? You're not pushing out content, you're adding value to the prospect for the sake of the sale. Okay, people forget that final part. They forget why they're doing this in the first place. They're going after the sale. Okay, why are you starting a podcast? Are you starting a podcast for inbound leads to close sales? Or are you starting a podcast because you want to see your little downloads chart shoot up and see people listening to your garbage, okay, to put it frankly? Now, if you're doing that with the intent of a sale in mind, then more power to you. I wish you luck, and it might work out for you. Okay, but there's an easier way to get sales, and it's literally by selling. Okay, so when you're going into these forums, when you're going onto Facebook groups, when you're putting out this long form content in the form of what seems like kind of entertainment and consultative content and education, it's actually the process of selling. This has been used as the process of selling for many, many, many years, okay? It's never really going to change. The second you stop adding value to the prospect, they're no longer in that sales pipeline. So if you're adding value, then perfect. But if you're just adding a ton of kind of random value that doesn't have any means to an end, right, then you're not selling anymore and you're just having fun, okay? You're just going for the entertainment route. And that is another route that is possible to be taken, right? There is money in building an audience, okay? But if you're selling a product, don't forget to sell the product, okay? Do not forget to sell the product. Let me say this again. If you are selling a product, don't forget to sell the product. Mistake I see so many entrepreneurs making nowadays is that they forget to sell the product and they instead focus on building an audience, okay? Again, there's value in an audience, but there's no value in the audience that doesn't have any necessary budget to buy your product, okay? So ultimately, and I didn't really get too much into the kind of nitty-gritty of how we're actually going to generate these leads and everything and how we're actually going to land these first few clients, okay? 6 clients is all you need. If you have 6 clients, okay, and they're each paying you at $1,500 each, you are sitting on a perfect little agency, okay, that has very predictable, very sustainable, and very good revenue with no overhead, okay? You can literally do it all from your cell phone, okay? There's no excuse to not be generating clients like this and not bringing in revenue like this for a digital agency nowadays. There's just no excuse, okay? So I'm actually going to make a follow-up to this and talk a little bit more about how you can add that value, how you can actually close the sale by adding the value, okay, because a lot of this was going on a tangent about how everyone thinks that they're a media company nowadays, which I frankly just cannot stand. So ultimately, I'm Nick Calabro. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to check out collaboration.com. Okay, I've got a ton of other content like this and blog posts and whatnot. This is not for the sake of closing a sale, but for the sake of that I just enjoy ranting about it. So if you enjoy listening to it, then please check out more content, and I will talk to you soon. So long.